Hello guys, welcome back. This is Chris AD with Electro Pros, and today we have a classic. It's the MacBook Pro, the A1708, that has this charge port, this type of charge port. As you guys can see, they can easily get corroded on the pins right here. In this case, the ones that are corroded are on the back side, and this is classic. It will cause it not to charge. What we are going to do is right now replace this, and I'm going to show you guys my method on replacing those charge ports. All right, so what I do is, what I'm pretty sure a lot of people do the same thing, is we use a technique called hot swap basically. So we just basically lift it up, put the new one in. So I'm gonna start the video for recording on the microscope as well, so I can also see what I'm doing. All right, so I like to use it without the nozzle, so that way it can get hot in a wider range compared to the nozzle tips that are almost not even less than half the diameter of the nozzle without a tip. So let me get my tweezers as well. I can use these. All right, so I have those plates covering the Type-C chips right here, and there's a bunch of components. Also, it's going to help in absorbing the heat and not letting the board absorb the majority of the heat, because we do have on the other side, we do have the what do we call it? It's like the Thunderbolt driver, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what's the right term for it, but it's a big driver that sits right there. It acts for USB connection and all that stuff. So let's just continue with the heat. So what I'm doing is, with the tweezer, I'm checking the sides of the charge port to make sure. There you go, it's starting to lift. All right, and it's lifted. So it's still hot right here. As you guys can see, it's still hot. So what I'm gonna do is, we're doing a hot swap, right? So we're gonna immediately put this down while it's still hot. So it should fall in place any moment now. It actually just fell in place. Just hold it down. You isolate the heat. You keep holding for it to cool down. Let's use, in this case, let's use our pump. You see where I put it. Our pump, let's see where it is. Might be here. Yep. This is just blowing cold air to it. Also, as you guys can see, none of the components move. These are the Type-C, the CD3215s that I was talking about, the Type-C chips. Also on the other side, I'm gonna show you guys. So you have the big IC right here. Also, you have these two ICs that are underfilled, and that can be damaged from excess heat. Let me try to focus this. So you see the underfill right here, and on this chip as well. You can kind of see that there is no bubbles around those resistors and caps. That's a good sign, means we did not overheat the board. So if there's no solder balls right here, it means that the chip did not get hot enough for the solder to melt. So right now we can just lift up the board a bit just to make sure it's seated properly, make sure everything's making good contact, it's flush. Give it a nice look. Now we can try it with our power supply. Let's go ahead and try it with our power supply. Make sure that both Type-C plugs work. First things first, let's make sure it gets 19 volts. Let's just give it a few minutes. There you go, 19 volts, and it's reading. It has a healthy reading. So let's disconnect it and try the let's just flip it to make sure the other side works. Then we'll try the second one. 19 volts, healthy reading. So let's go ahead and try the second port. 5 volts. Let's just wait for it to negotiate. There you go, 19 volts, healthy reading. Let's just flip it to the other side. If we can put it in. All right, 5 volts, negotiating. There you go, 19 volts, and it's healthy reading. There you guys have it. I don't imagine it took us more than 5 minutes to replace this. Out with the old, in with the new. Again, this is Chris AD with ElectroPros. Please subscribe, like our videos, and make sure to turn on your notifications for future videos. Almost dropped it. Have a good night.